Assalamu alaikum and good morning, everyone. Today we're going to study nanoscience and nanotechnology, and in this subject we will focus on nanophotonics and nanooptics. Nanophotonics and nanooptics is also a branch in nanoscience and nanotechnology. And but the outline of my presentation is an explanation of the nanoscience and nanophotonics, its background, motivations, and the principles involved. So we will discuss these one by one. Before that, I would like you guys to join this meeting and and question me the ambiguities, the problems that you're facing in your lecture. So I will try my best to answer your questions one by one. Okay, Bacho. I hope all of you are awake now, and you guys can join me on Zoom meeting within 5 minutes. You have 5 to 8 minutes to join this meeting. Everyone can hear me now. You guys can hear me now. Assalamu alaikum. We can start from nanoscience and nanophotonics. Nanophotonics or nano-optics is the study of the behavior of light on the nanometer scale and of the interaction of nanometer scale objects with light. We can also say it is a branch of optics, optical engineering or electrical engineering, and nanotechnology as well. It often involves metallic components which can transport and focus light via surface plasmons, polariton, that are SPPs. Surface plasmon polaritons, what are these? These are infrared or visible frequency electromagnetic waves that travel along a metal dielectric or metal air interface. The term surface plasmon polariton explains that the wave involves both charge motion in the metal surface plasmon and electromagnetic waves in the air or dielectric polariton. What are polariton? Polariton are quasi-particles. These are quasi-particles resulting from strong coupling of electromagnetic waves with an electric or magnetic dipole carrying excitation. So these are the examples. This is the definition of SSPs, surface plasmon polariton and polariton. So here you can see different colors due to nano features. These colors are generated because of the nano size of the butterfly wings, and also peacock feathers, photoreceptor, rhodospin. So when you have nano diffraction gratings, these colors are these kind of patterns they are observed. Okay, in a nanometer dimension scale, if you have a 2D confinement, or you can say 1D confinement, for example, the particle will be 2D confined. Particle can move in 2 dimensions, but cannot move in 3rd dimension. The z-axis is restricted. However, it can move in x and y. And in a similar way, in case of nanowire or optical fiber, there is 2D confinement. Electron or your photon cannot move, in 2nd and 3rd dimension. It can move on in 1 dimension along maybe z-axis, but x, y are restricted. And in a similar way, 3D confinement, like quantum dot, electron or your photon can move only in that sphere and that particular area. It cannot move out of that, small quantum dot. It is confined in that dot. This is the EM spectrum. You guys already know about this spectrum. This is the whole band, the visible one, ultraviolet, X-rays, gamma rays on the left with high energy, increasing energy, and on the right hand side, infrared radio waves with decreasing energy, increasing wavelength. And in a similar way, on the left side, the wavelength is decreasing and energy is increasing. So its range is also given 300 to 1200 nanometer. It includes in near infrared, ultraviolet, and visible. Visible is from 350 to 800 nanometers almost, or 700 nanometers. So this is the range, 350 to 800 nanometers. So in the background, you guys can see that normal optical components like lenses and microscopes generally cannot normally focus light of 2 nanometer deep sub-wavelength scales because of diffraction limit. Nevertheless, it's possible to squeeze light into a nanometer scale using other techniques like, for example, surface plasmons, localized surface plasmons, around nanoscale metal objects, and the nanoscale apertures and nanoscale sharp tips used in the near field scanning or scanning optical microscopy, NSOM. In short, we call it NSOM, near field scanning optical microscopy, and photo-assisted scanning tunneling microscopy. Motivations nanophotonics researchers pursue a very wide variety of goals in the fields ranging from biochemistry to electrical engineering. A few of these goals are summarized below. Optoelectronics and microelectronics. If light can be squeezed into a small volume, it can be absorbed and detected by a small detector. Small photodetectors tend to have a variety of desirable properties, including low noise, high speed, and low voltage and power. So these are the important motivations of optoelectronics and microelectronics. You guys can go through this theory as well, how the light interaction occurs. And then their application in the solar cell, spectroscopy, microscopy, and the principles of plasmons and metal optics. And the principles we have, metals are an effective way to confine light for far below the wavelength. This was originally used in radio and microwave engineering, where the metal antennas and waveguides may be hundreds of times smaller than the free space wavelength. For a similar reason, visible light can be confined to the nanoscale via nano-sized metal structures such as nano-sized structure, tips, gaps, etc. This fact is somewhat analogous to lightning rod, where the field concentrates at the top. And in the second point, this fact is fundamentally based on the fact that the permittivity of the matter is very large and negative. And third one is many nano-optics designs look like common microwave or radio wave circuits, but shrunk down by a factor of 100,000 or more. After all, radio waves, microwaves, and visible light are all electromagnetic radiation in nature. They differ only in frequency. Okay, so that's why this happens. And you guys can go through this as well. Then there's a new branch of materials, metamaterials. Metamaterial have their physics totally different than the ordinary materials. They exhibit negative refractive index because commonly the material exhibit positive refractive index that we have studied so far, but in case of metamaterial, the refractive index becomes negative. Okay. Metamaterials are artificial materials engineered to have properties that may not be found in nature. They are created by fabricating an array of structures much smaller than a wavelength. The small nano size of the structure is important. That's that way light interacts with them as if they made up of a uniform continuous medium rather than scattering of the individual structures. Here in the diagram, you guys can see negative index metamaterial array configuration, which was constructed of copper split ring resonators and wires mounted on interlocking sheets of fiberglass circuit board. The total array consists of 3 by 20 cross 20 unit cells with overall dimensions of 10 millimeter cross 100 millimeter cross 100 mm. That is 0.39 inches cross 3.94 inches and into 3.94 inches. Here are the references that are being utilized in this presentation. And negative refractor negative index metamaterial. Negative index material name is a metamaterial whose refractive index for an electromagnetic wave has negative value over some frequency. Here's the definition. And on the right hand side, there's a background, how it reflected. The light should go, slightly to the left or of this material, but it doesn't go slightly left. It moves away from much far away from that line, the way it should have gone. So this is, the properties of metamaterials. They have totally different properties, and even in this diagram, the incident light, the refracted light should go in this direction. Rather it goes in the direction, it moves back into this direction. So this is left-handed material. Conventional material have this kind of refraction, but it has a different kind of refraction. So this is how the metamaterial come into action. One of the beautiful example is the invisibility cloak. The invisibility cloak, what they do is they reflect light in such a way that there is no imaging. You cannot see the person inside the invisibility cloak, because all the light that is, incident on the invisibility cloak is not properly reflected. It is either absorbed or scattered in such a direction that you cannot see that object's location. That's how it works. That's how this technology is being utilized in stealth warplanes as well. So with this, and we end today's lecture. Assalamu alaikum and good day to all of you. These are the slides, nanophotonics, nano-optics. These are the slides that we have recently discussed. You guys can synchronize the speed and listen to the audio and see the video slides.